try to give ourselves an opportunity. But look, the other party has to be interested too, whatever road we go down. And I think that's the tricky part, is trying to balance everything, but trying to find things that fit. Whereas other parties, like if it's a trade, then it has to be a trade that we feel is worthwhile. We're not going to go out and blow our, going to give out too many assets for a player that we feel can, not having those assets down the road hamper us in terms of making another move. So we'll be very thoughtful and intentional about how we go about doing that, like we always have been. And we're having internal thoughts and talks every day right now, the closer we get to that time.
I think even more so, it'll be difficult for a defense-dominant team to advance deeper into the playoffs than those type of teams.
I don't know, I think San Antonio's pretty good defensively. OKC was pretty good defensively. There were times, that all those teams couldn't score, right? I still believe you got to defend to win championships. I think that's critically important. Do you have to have enough offense? Sure, but I still believe you have to be one of the best defensive teams in the league to have a chance to win a championship, because you're just going to have nights where the three ball doesn't fall. You just can't find a rhythm as an offensive team. So the defense has to at least keep the game close for you to have a chance to find a rhythm offensively. But if it's the other way around and you're depending on offense and you can't guard anybody, it's going to be really hard on those nights where the ball isn't falling. Go ahead and shoot.
Trajan, big move at the deadline obviously was being able to move up to the 21st pick. I guess one, how do you view the depth of this draft, and then how much do you view being able to move up, helping you guys achieve the goals you have for this draft, getting the player you want?
Yeah, no, I think we were fortunate, kind of where we landed in terms of that swap of picks. There was a chance that Minnesota hadn't played well, that we could have, we would have just stayed at where we were. But given the chances, we were able to, secure that 21st pick that we have and feel we're going to get a good player here. Couldn't have anticipated the amount of players that went back through the NIL to school, so I think that has kind of thinned up the depth of the draft. We still think it is a good draft, and I think we'll find a good player at 21. I don't think we'll look at flipping back or getting out, but could we look at situations to get up if need be? But I do think if we stay at 21, we'll find a player for that.
Do you think, not just with your pick, but overall, there will be a lot of movement on draft night? There often is, but this year seems to might be pretty volatile, not just for you guys, but around the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked to 29 teams around different things, and everybody's been pretty vague with concepts. But I do have a feel that people will be aggressively trying to get better, or looking at ways to get better, which we're doing the same thing through different roadmaps and trying to figure out what the best one is and how they can intersect with other teams to get things done. So probably. I don't think there'll be much movement within the lottery, because I think you're going to get those teams will get good players where they're at. But I think maybe outside of it, picks could be used for players, or picks could be used to flip forward when we have teams with multiple first-round picks.
Trajan Langdon, he did his press conference. It was Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I put some clips in there. He talked about, the draft moving up. They're more likely to move up than move down. People took they put it into words. They put it into words about what he said about the, trading assets. And I think, now he's saying I'm willing to move assets and be aggressive, but I'm not moving assets or being aggressive just to move assets and be aggressive. I'm not overpaying for players that's not worth it. And he said, basically, this is cool on Twitter. Says, Piston fans, he refused to make moves. I don't get how people tell that takeaway. And basically, he's just not making moves that's going to compromise the franchise and compromise their core. They're only going to make moves for guys They're only going to make moves for guys that they feel that, that's going to better them. It's as simple as that, man. And I mean, when I read it, it was different reading it. But when I heard him say it, and I put the clip in there where he basically said that, what he did say was, he said that they just ain't gonna make moves for the sake of making moves. I ain't gonna just do something, just say I did something and it don't make sense. So now where Piston fans got to misconstrue that, they ain't gonna make no moves, or I seen somebody say that mean Dennis Jenkins gonna be our third lead scorer again, and it's like, come on. I didn't get where you got that from, where they got that from. So yeah, I mean, what do y'all want him just to trade for a guy that they don't feel fit? And I was listening to Isaiah Thomas. He did an interview with Lindsey Hunter and Tim Hardaway podcast, which I like their podcast. I like both of them players growing up. Where he said that NBA locker room, it's a lot that goes into it more than just skills, it's personality. He said back in his day, Isaiah Thomas, bad people can play on the team. They couldn't be in the NBA with bad attitudes. So you're looking at attitudes, you're looking at chemistry, you're looking at basketball fit, you're looking at all those type of things, But just to make a move, just not to make a move, or just to make a move, I get them on that. But people, now they say, he refused to make. Obviously, they've been associated with, they've been the hottest trade name. Don't mean anything gonna happen outside of Milwaukee. Come on. So we'll see. He talked about adding a second. He talked about adding a second leading scorer and all those things, man. So of course they understand what they need to add. Now, as far as I'm talking about the draft, more likely they move up than move down. I mean, shit, it is what it is. Take the best possible player down in those picks. San Antonio, continued their longevity where the Pistons stalled their longevity at. We're talking about the 2000s. Where we could have took Carmelo and we missed on a bunch of picks that could have, extended the core of the Pistons, and San Antonio kept banking. Parker was in the 20s. Ginobili was late first round, early second round. They kept finding pieces, and where we kept finding pieces that didn't fit what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? We kept missing and they kept hitting in those picks. So, yeah, now that him kind of talking about the flat and then the lottery odds, yeah, it makes it more it makes it your pick way more valuable. He's right about that.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think with the change in the lottery, I think picks will become even more treasured going forward. And obviously after 29, nobody knows what the NBA will do in terms of the lottery reform. We have this reform in place for the next 3 years, and they've had a term called sunsetting it with the CBA, and so we really don't know how they'll change. And so picks beyond 29, I think, won't be moved as much, which makes for picks before that, since there's not a lot of them, to become very coveted, and teams will be very intentional around using them to go get the player that they want, or players that they might want. So I think that will be internal dialogue all over the league, is what's worth what, and how will that impact us or restrict us going forward. And so those are thoughts and conversations that we're having around that. But yeah, sure, I mean, really, really good players, I think it'll be tougher for them to get moved, just because once you move them, it'll be incredibly difficult to replace them.
Acquiring picks way more valuable. So yeah, it definitely does, man. So now, moving forward, Draft picks gonna be interesting, so they're gonna be a little bit more valued. And talked about, I don't know if he spoke on this. I didn't see the video, but he spoke on, he was addressing that he has no talks of Malik Beasley. It was reports that came out that they were talking to Malik Beasley doing a 1-year deal, and he came out and said that no, Malik Beasley doesn't have an agent right now, so we haven't talked to Malik Beasley. So Beasley ain't coming back. I don't expect Beasley to be back in the league ever again. I'm just gonna tell you that. That's just my personal opinion on it. No inside information. So that's why I'm treating it. He ain't gonna be back in the league, and we'll see what happens. But in general, he ain't gonna take too much. He ain't gonna give you an update of what they doing or this. It's just bland, answering some questions. Oh, this is what we doing. Oh, this is what we thinking about doing. He also said he wanted to bring Jalen Durham back. So he wanted to bring Jalen Durham back, and we want him back. And even if they didn't want him back, you think I'll say we don't want him back? You know what I'm saying? Oh no, we good. He tried. It's really, when you get these press conferences, you take them for a grain of salt. There ain't a lot of transparency. It ain't gonna be a lot of honesty. You know what I'm saying? We looking at everything. That's basically that's just what it is. We looking at everything, and we love to bring him back. And then secretly they're ready to get rid of him. So, the GM talking to the media once, twice, 3 times a year, it's like, it's disingenuous. Most times it's disingenuous, or it's closer to disingenuous than being genuine. So they see a whole side of the game that we don't see: personalities, what they doing off the field, a chemistry fit. So they see it a lot different than we do. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link in the description. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, everywhere. Everything inside the link in the description. Peace.
I think even more so, it'll be difficult for a defense-dominant team to advance deeper into the playoffs than those type of teams.
I don't know. I think San Antonio was pretty good defensively. OKC was pretty good defensively. There were times, that all those teams couldn't score, right? I still believe you got to defend to win championships. I think that's critically important. Do you have to have enough offense? Sure, but I still believe you have to be one of the best defensive teams in the league to have a chance to win a championship, because you're just going to have nights where the 3 ball doesn't fall.